My name is Tom Magdalinskis. I am assistant principal here at Neshaminy as well as athletic director. And we'd like to begin today's program with a few selections from the members of our select choir. The choir is under the direction of Mrs. Kristen Nichols. Mrs. Nichols, take it away. Today is a tradition that began 9 years ago here at Neshaminy High School, and each year continues to be a special event. At a time when we're honoring students for their achievements while in high school, preparing for graduation, and the various festivities that come with the arrival of summer, today we get a chance to say hello to and thank a unique group of students. I had a chance to speak to several of these individuals the past few weeks. And I was curious as to their motivation as why they chose to enlist and serve rather than pursue work or perhaps college. Some of the answers. I want to give back. I want a chance to be the first in my family to serve. I have a family member who's a Marine that serves with pride. I want to as well. I want to protect all those things that those who fought for us have done in the past. I want to develop my leadership skills and start a career. In short, the themes were simple: careers, service, and a desire to defend. Today we live in a world where our military is asked to fight battles that no one would have imagined 30, 40, or 50 years ago. Quite honestly, we don't know what the future holds. Nevertheless, acts of terror and hostile enemies emphasize the need for a strong and prepared military. It's very reassuring to know that students here from Neshaminy High School will be playing a role to help in the cause. The 24-hour news cycle constantly reminds us that we face challenges from enemies that are abroad and maybe perhaps within our own communities. Service and commitment to excellence are more important now than ever before. Over these past 9 years, a Neshaminy High School tradition has begun, where dozens of administrators, teachers, counselors, and coaches have all visited Parris Island in South Carolina. It was an idea for us to learn what goes on in the military. And it's safe to say that all of us returned with a much deeper appreciation for our military men and women, and for what these young men and women will be facing in the days, weeks, and months ahead. This ceremony is our school's way and our community's way of saying thank you. To the young men and women sitting to my right, you're about to embark upon a journey filled with hard work, with sacrifice, with teamwork, and a concept of working towards a greater good. And speaking with each of you, I think you know that all too well, and I believe you are well prepared for what lies ahead. This is an awesome responsibility. It's my hope that your time here at Neshaminy has played a small part in preparing you for those challenges and what lies ahead. In closing, let me be the first to say congratulations on your decision to serve. Thank you for your decision to serve, and may God bless you and guide you on your journey forward. Thank you. At this time, several of our local politicians and members of the community have joined us. Mr. Frank Ferry, a Neshaminy High School graduate, will be taking a few moments to introduce those individuals, and then we will be hearing from a veterans advocate, Mr. Peter Chong, in just a moment. Mr. Ferry.
Thank you. If Representative Davis and if Ryan Skachillis from Senator Tomlinson's office can join me here. Can you begin with a few words?
Oh, thank you. I just want to congratulate you, the parents, the grandparents, brothers and sisters and friends. This has to be the most courageous decision you guys made. You probably don't realize that. You think some of you probably came with ease in making this decision. But parents, you should be proud. They're going to come back better people, better women and men, and I salute you guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ryan Skachillis. I'm here today on behalf of Tommy Tomlinson, the state senator, who's at a scholarship event right now. He's going to try and make it, but he wanted me to send his apologies, but also send his sincere thanks. Men and women, you are the absolute best of our community. You are the absolute best of our Commonwealth and the absolute best of our country. Thank you for everything you're doing for us, you're doing for our families, you're doing for our community. It's unbelievable. And I hope everybody in Lower Bucks County realizes what you guys are doing. It's unbelievable. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Know that we'll always be there for you. We're so proud to have you. And on behalf of Tommy Tomlinson, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina and Ryan. It's always extra special to be able to return to the halls of Neshaminy. The halls are a little different than when I walked through here almost 3 decades ago. But, you know, we have such a great and vibrant community. And I do have to say before I get on to recognizing these men and women to my right, I see our friends from the Jesse Sobey Legion Post out of Langhorne over here to my right, your left. And if you've never been to their Memorial Day Parade, and Neshaminy schedules this event heading into Memorial Day weekend annually. If you've never been to the Memorial Day Parade that they host on Monday, please take some time to attend it. They do a fantastic job with both their ceremony and the parade in recognizing those men and women that have made the ultimate sacrifice in the service to our country. Because I know we have a lot of picnics and a lot of different things that we do over Memorial Day weekend, but it's really a tribute to our war dead. So they do a fantastic job. And a little Neshaminy plug, joining them in the parade this year will be Neshaminy's own Katie Turner, by the way, and she'll be having a meet and greet afterwards. So for those that have not had the opportunity to meet Katie, please stop by the parade and the Legion Post afterwards, because I know Dr. McGee and many in the Neshaminy family worked very hard to support her with her American Idol bid. Now to the ladies and gentlemen to my right. You know, as I look out in the audience, I see a fellow first responder and Neshaminy alum who graduated Neshaminy 28 years ago. And to think that we're here 28 years later as his son is heading off to join the military, and I have the honor of being able to recognize his son and their classmates says something a little extra special. When we graduated Neshaminy in 1990, the world was a different place. The Persian Gulf War had not started. It was relatively peaceful. You have chosen to sign up and join the ranks of those before you in a great time of unrest in our country. And as Tina alluded to, that is a very brave and courageous decision, and we commend you for it. As one of the township's local volunteer fire chiefs, I've had the opportunity to welcome back several men and women from our community as they triumphantly returned and safely returned, which is the important part, safely returned from their tours overseas. And we certainly look forward to that day. As time has gone on through these 9 years of ceremonies, I've taken great pleasure, whether seeing it on Facebook or in the newspaper, seeing the young men and women that we've honored here before as they pass their basic training and go on to advanced training and their other roles in the military. So we look forward to reading about you and your successes in the military. We look forward to your safe return to our community when your service time is done, and we wish you Godspeed and much success with all of your missions. So thank you for your sacrifice. And our next speaker will be Peter Chung, who is the Military and Veteran Affairs Advocate for Congressman Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon. So real quick, just from experience, when you guys go to boot camp, do not say thank you to your drill instructors or drill sergeants, because all they're just going to do is scream back, thank your recruiter. But again, my name is Peter Chung. I'm from Congressman Fitzpatrick's office as the Military and Veterans Advocate. I'm a native of Bucks County and had the pleasure to serve in the United States Army with 2 tours to Afghanistan and 2 tours to Iraq in support of the global war on terror. Thank you to Neshaminy High School for this opportunity to speak at today's event. While the Congressman was unable to attend, I am humbled that he has asked me to attend in his place and share both his heartfelt thanks for each of your dedication to duty to answer our nation's call. As you may know, Congressman Fitzpatrick served the United States for 14 years as an FBI supervisory special agent, including assignments around the world in defense of our country and the freedom we love. Like you, he wore the colors of our country while serving alongside U.S. military forces in Iraq as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom. He knows firsthand the service and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform and fights each day for all service members in our district and our country. It is never lost on us, however, how important their service is to our country and to our community. The efforts of our veterans and the young men and women who are here with us today have delivered and will still continue to deliver future generations a nation seen as a beacon of freedom and prosperity around the world. Without knowing the outcome of where you'll be stationed or possibly deployed, we are gathered with these young men and women who volunteered, raising their right hand to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, protecting this great nation of ours, fully prepared to give their full measure of devotion. founding of our republic was predicated on our military serving as a source of pride for our nation. George Washington aptly observed, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional as to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation." Each of us owes a debt of gratitude to these men and women from the greatest generation of warriors, Neshaminy High School graduates who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, and all those from every generation who have and those who still continue to serve in conflicts and regions around the world. Since the founding of our nation, fathers, mothers, husbands, wives, aunts, uncles, sons, and daughters have answered duty's call and served bravely in protection of the freedom we often take for granted. As President John F. Kennedy once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. We should never forget their service, nor should we never forget the service of those who cannot be with us today. Those who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation. Today, we thank and honor all the Neshaminy High School students here for pursuing a career in the United States military. We say a prayer that you all return home safely to your family, friends, and to this nation that you love. In closing, I would like to share this with you. Every time we are called, we answer, "Here I am." We answer knowing that the freedom of our country depends on our actions, and fully aware that we answer at our own peril, and yet we still answer, "Here I am." There will be many tough days, but there will also be good days. Just know that you're not alone, and someone will always have your back. Always keep your head up high, and never let any obstacle stand in your way. On behalf of Congressman Fitzpatrick, the people of Bucks County, and all proud Americans, I say thank you for joining, thank you for your service, best of luck in your future endeavors, and God bless these United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chong. At this point, if our recruiting officers, if they're here with us today, if they can come up and join me and greet the individuals as I introduce them. Dr. McGee, if you'd like to join us as well. Okay, and we will begin with entering the United States National Guard, Matthew Leonhauser. Entering the United States Marine Corps, Felicity Wright. The United States Navy, Batuhan Gergen. Also entering the United States Navy, Kristen Kumstead. Entering the United States Army, Michael Crescenzo. Entering the United States Army, Ryan Egan. Ryan's not with us. Entering the United States Army as well, Tyler Giberson. Also entering the United States Army, Cole Smith. entering the United States Army as well, Philip Smythe. And finally, entering the United States Army, Colton Wilson. I have a few thank yous to send out before I close up my comments and turn the microphone over, but I do want to thank our recruiting officers who are friends of Neshaminy High School. You see them here on a daily basis in the hallways, in the cafeteria, talking to our kids with us today from the United States Marine Corps, and Neshaminy graduate Stephen Winter. And from the United States Navy, Staff Sergeant Elizabeth Berry. And from the United States Army, Staff Sergeant Randy Hoy. My apologies, Timothy Sees. I'm sorry, we have our names crossed here. Sorry.
Staff Sergeant Jones 0.
We had a redeployment along the way. I apologize. Thank you for being here, and thank you for working with our students. And so I don't know, again, I have a few more thanks to throw out, and around the room, and I believe I see most of them here, several of our Neshaminy High School staff have served in the service, so I would like to introduce them if they are here and ask them to at least stand and be acknowledged. United States Air Force, Glenn McKee. I know this next individual here is United States Air Force, Craig Schneider. Also serving the Air Force, Eric Steyer. United States Navy, Gary Warlow. United States Army, Mark Petrucci. I believe Mr. Shook is still with us. United States Army, John Shook. United States Army, James Murray. And United States Marine Corps, Brian Bluette. And my final thank you of the night is not, or the evening is afternoon, is not in any of your programs, but it is the woman that has contacted all of the parents, who has worked with the recruiters so closely, who has worked with me so closely, and has really put together a fantastic program. You'll see her in the main office daily, Ms. Trish Murray, she's over here. Wonderful asset to Neshaminy High School, that's for sure. Again, my comments for today are over. I thank you. Again, bless you. And we're going to turn it over to Dr. McGee for some closing remarks. Dr. McGee.
Pennsylvania Representative Davis, Pennsylvania Representative Ferry, Senator Tomlinson's office, and Pennsylvania, U.S. Congressman Fitzpatrick's office. Always here to support Neshaminy High School and always here to support our students. Also our recruiters. Mr. Maggs mentioned it. They are here constantly. Always welcome at Neshaminy High School, moving throughout the hallways, something we established a decade ago, and that's how the opportunities happen. So thank you to them, and as Mr. Maggs mentioned, they do swap out periodically. We have to keep track of them. But more importantly, I'd like to thank our seniors and their parents. I'm not sure if you quite understand it yet, seniors, but you're about to do something very significant. If I can put it in perspective, most of the graduates of the Neshaminy High School class of 2018, a year from now, will come back and be considered college kids. You, on the other hand, a year from now, will be considered men and women of the United States Armed Forces. You'll be part of a long history representing our country and protecting liberty and freedom around the world. This is the ceremony where I roll out one of my favorite proverbs for the end of the year. And it goes like this. I didn't write it, somebody else did. A community grows great When people plant trees in whose shade they know they shall never sit. A community grows great when people plant trees in whose shade they know they shall never sit. You are growing a community, not only a community, you're also growing our nation. The shade of the trees that you plant over the next several years will benefit millions of Americans many years, decades, and centuries from now. So from all of us, God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America. Thank you.